We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. In the studio today, we have Montana, Aaron, Ryan is back by popular demand, Nikki is back by popular demand. New to the studio, we have Andre.
Hi.
Can you guys see Andre over there? That's Andre. And then we have Emma. And we have a special in-studio guest, those of you who are used to the Our Place app, which you can find in the iTunes App Store, Our Place. She has her own column in the app. She's kind of world famous. Jenny is here. Is there a camera on Jenny at all? Or are you just going to take my word for it? Can Jenny stick her face in front of your...
Just lean in front of...
She doesn't want to, though. She's like, please.
Yeah, Jenny.
Janet!
Take our word for it, people.
Yeah, take our word for it. Jenny's here. So Jenny from Ask Jenny is here at Our Place, and we've got some exciting stuff going on. People have been getting into some really cool colleges. Ryan, go ahead, give us an update.
I will be going to Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse in the fall of 2015.
Which means you know Oprah.
It means that Oprah stood somewhere I will be.
Yes. Excellent. Montana, college news?
College thing that I forgot to tell you because I wasn't here last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I got accepted with provision to Berkeley. That provision, Berkeley School of Music, not Berkeley. Yeah, thanks. The provision being that I go study for a year at their sister school in Spain.
Oh, so
So-
you're like
That
on the
sounds like a
farm
good
team.
provision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best provision.
Oh,
it's like,
you
hey,
have to
you
go
have to go to Spain.
And I was like, okay, if I must. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. I don't speak a word of Spanish.
Oh, they
So-
speak Spanish in Spain? Wow.
Spanish.
Yep.
You're going to have to prepare for that. And then Emma's here,
Hi, Emma.
and Andre's here. Andre, are you going to college?
Yeah. I'm going to like the other Berkeley in California.
All right.
Yeah, their engineering school.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Round of
Thanks.
applause on that.
Yeah.
And we're going to get right into questions because we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. All right. So I answered this question in my column. I have an Ask Weezy column on newshawk.com, which is a online newspaper in Santa Barbara, California, where I live. And this one was controversial. And I thought that I was just giving kind of just an answer based on maybe my views or my experiences, but it turns out that the topic of feminism, and I'm glad you're here, Montana, because you're really good at this topic, is very controversial, and it means different things to different people. So, Aaron, I would love for you to read Chloe's letter.
Dear Wheezy, so I just need to rant to somebody, but all my friends live their lives for boys and would change who they are in a second just to get a boy's attention. Angry face. I posted a photo on Instagram about feminism, and it got half as many likes as one of my group pictures, or pictures of my pets, or even a freaking selfie. The thing is, all the people who liked it were girls, and I know a lot of boys in my grade follow me and definitely saw the pic, but chose not to like it because of the topic. Why are so many boys so effing ignorant? Sometimes boys, even 50-something male teachers, make sexist comments in class, and it annoys the heck out of me. Ugh. Doesn't it just bother you that people don't see how much of a problem inequality is between genders?
Okay, so the way that I chose to answer the question was, yes, there's inequality between genders because the genders will never be the same. There will always be inherent differences, and therefore society is always trying to sort of compensate for that. Meaning kind of first world society, because if we're going to talk about certain societies where women are subjugated, that's a completely different conversation. So let's just talk about America, because otherwise the conversation just becomes too overwhelming, and for me it's already overwhelming. But when I sort of deigned to say, well, because women carry the baby, it's just a game changer, so the sexes are never going to be completely even. What we want to do is have as much equality as is possible in terms of human rights, dignity, equal opportunities, that type of thing. And I got angry comments from feminists because they thought that I had like a beautiful opportunity to say to this kid, yay, go you feminist girl, and let's do this and make a difference. And
But you
instead
did.
Yeah, you did.
I
did.
even posted the Emma Watson speech before the
and you-
United
That
Nations.
was
And you
such a
told her
good
you thought
speech.
she was going to go far in life and that she should
Yeah.
raise her hands and say things, so I think you did do that.
Okay, go ahead, Montana.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the angry feminist comments were at you, because it doesn't seem like you were discouraging her. It just seems like you're like, yeah, this is feminism. Good for you. Like it's not like you were saying like, oh, don't fight this. There's no reason to fight that, you know?
No, I was just saying, I guess I was trying to say that, sort of when you're 15 or when you're 18, you can be a lot more militant for a cause. and then as you grow older, you sort of come to realize, well, yes, this is definitely conceptually beautiful, but there's inherent problems because men and women will never be the same. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, equality doesn't mean that everybody's the same. It just means that everyone has equal opportunity, right? Like it's not necessarily conformity and uniformity. It's just like everyone is sort of on a level playing field. But beyond that, I think that what people took issue to in your column is probably like, and this is kind of this one's a little nitpicky-er, but like one example you gave was like cats and dogs aren't equal, but like those are different species, whereas men and women are the same species.
They are. Men are from Mars. It says so.
I can confirm this.
On the internet, it says so.
No, that's yes, but like it sort of boils down to like okay, another thing you said, like they women have babies, and that's a game changer. But like there are many women who don't or can't, and by choice or otherwise, and that it's nowadays optional, right? So
no, okay, so just so take having babies and let's remove that. And then let's just go to the differences between men and women. There are certain. So let's take the military for example. If you're hiking for long distances and you're carrying a certain payload, are there differences between men and women? Like, are there other careers where there are physical differences between men and women? Montana?
Yeah, I think there definitely are certain careers. Like, I don't know much about the Army stuff, so I don't want to speak on it too much. I know that technically this is something that pisses off a lot of feminists,
Right.
that like technically women aren't as strong, like, and that's kind of like true, and scientifically you can't argue that, but it's not like that. It's not like that it means like men are always just stronger and better and women are subjugated because of that. It's like biology makes up for it in some ways. Like yes, men are strong, but women have a high pain tolerance because
Right.
of like giving birth and stuff. So I want to give it to you because I know you're going to go on about equity.
No, yeah. So
Were you going to say that? Because I
this
knew it.
This is kind of semantics, but just to address the first thing you said is like actually no, that what you were saying like isn't equality is equality. And it's semantics, like I said, but the term equity is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which is saying that everyone has equal opportunity and the playing field is leveled, because equality does mean that two things are the same, that men and women would be the same. So equity is the better term, and it's semantics, but you know the same way that you were analyzing the semantics of Wheezy's response about cats and dogs, and it didn't really do justice to the point she was making. So that is like one of the things that I think is important, and I always like say that even though maybe it doesn't have a huge effect on the actual situation, it is important to recognize that. And on what you're saying about like okay, so you were saying like the stronger thing, yeah, it's like scientifically it's easier generally for men to build muscle, but it doesn't mean that any singular woman couldn't be as strong as any singular man. And I think that's the important way to look at it, is that biologically it's easier for me to build muscle than Montana, but it doesn't mean that if she put the work in she couldn't be stronger than me. And I think that's the way you have to look at it.
I agree with that point too. Like for me, it's more like of a mental game than a physical game, because like there's plenty of like weak men around. There's plenty like strong women around. So it's just depending on like how much work you're willing to put into your like own body to make yourself fit. Cause like there's a lot of girls out there who like bench more than me, squat more than me, and I'm not even mad. Like good for them. Like I'm proud.
Like if you both started at the same place, it might be easier for you to get there, but you could
that
both get
shouldn't
there.
matter.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you can both get there regardless of what it takes. Nikki?
I think that the big issue here, the whole feminism debate, is that I think people are uncomfortable talking about it because I feel like this shouldn't be an issue, right? It's 2015. This shouldn't be an issue. So I think people feel like by acknowledging the problem, they're actually contributing to it. But that's not what should happen. Like we should address the wealth disparity between what men and women are gaining in the workplace. But I feel like everyone agrees that men and women should be paid the same. And we feel like we shouldn't have to talk about it.
But what about, Nikki, the aspect of being in the workplace and women being having to encounter sexist comments or just rudeness or someone standing too close, or that because men and women come to the workplace, still men and women, so they're going to be either attracted to each other or repulsed by each other in some cases, and so there's going to be those dynamics that women come up against where they just have to sit there and like the Mad Men that just ran last night.
Oh my god, was it last night?
Well, I guess they were, Joan and Peggy were just sitting there taking a meeting, and the men just kept saying these horrific things. I mean, it wouldn't be said today because it is 2015, but this is just the history of like what women have experienced in the workplace, and you're just watching it. You're just so weary for them because oh my gosh, go ahead.
This was the start of the new season.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Oh my god, I forgot to watch it, and I'm so mad. Do you have it recorded?
It will air again.
When?
I don't know, but it's AMC. So
Okay, well I'm gonna record it because
next. Yeah,
Okay.
I have it recorded in Santa Barbara, so come visit us.
okay, I'm gonna come and watch your Mad Men
So-
and then leave.
And so there's that, and then there's also just that her point of like her view of like what her currency in the world is sort of based on likes.
I was about to address
Oh,
that.
yeah. And so there's just so much to discuss here. But anyway, Montana.
Yeah, I think feminism wasn't as much the issue with this question as it was with her just needing to chill out a little bit. Like she's making a huge deal over like all my friends, like they live their lives for boys' attention. And I'm sure if you asked your friend, they wouldn't agree with you. They live their life for them. They live their life to do things they like to do. And boys, however big a part of that it might be, that's not just all their attention. And if it is, like, good for them, that's not even your problem. And also, don't ever take anything on Instagram seriously, no matter, like, with likes or, like, subject matter, because it's Instagram. It's not even supposed to be, like, a means of like, communication.
You should
really.
say something on Instagram or on social media or to a group of friends because it matters to you, not because you need to have a certain response.
Yeah.
Ryan or Aaron, and then Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So first off, I disagree about Instagram. I think that it is like a form of communication. Like as time progresses, it will become more and more so. And if that fades away, something will replace it that is similar. Like it's social currency, right? Like likes are social currency. Like that matters. That actually, there is gravity there. But regardless, she's saying, why are so many boys so effing ignorant? How come they didn't like this, right? Well, I think that part of the problem is that there's this sort of misassociation between feminism and the concept as it is commonly perceived. Like, feminism states that women should be treated equally as men are treated, right? Like, there shouldn't be a difference. Whereas it's commonly perceived that what it means is that women are better than men, which is extremist feminism, which has existed forever and still exists today, but is not at all what feminism is about, right? And the problem is that, and I've encountered this a lot of times, that people don't understand that that's what feminism actually means, that there's equality, equity.
Well, because it has the title, it has femme in the title, and so for a boy to publicly like that when he hasn't really come into his own manhood, he doesn't have the courage or the sense of self to really say that out in public, unless there were a room full of 10 boys and they all agreed we're gonna like this, because he's sitting alone in his room going, "Well, I get your point, but I'm not gonna be the first boy." Anyway, go ahead, Ryan.
I don't know that I fully agree with that. I think that can have an effect on it, but I know for myself, like how I decide what I like on Instagram is like someone posts a picture of a cheeseburger and I'm kind of hungry, so I like it then. But if I had just eaten, I wouldn't like that same picture. You know, and I also don't like pictures that people post on Instagram that have any like real political like background to it or like any, you know, like I don't really like it when people post a lot of like meaningful quotes and stuff, because it's like I just want to see like whatever beach you're at. Like that's what Instagram is to me. So I just don't like it because I don't want people to keep posting them, not because of the actual topic behind it. One of the things I wanted to say though about like how it is social currency is like, yes, it's social currency, but it's social currency amongst 15-year-olds who don't know what they want in the world. And I think it's also important to remember, and this is more of like my like philosophical take on a lot of like pressing social issues, is that it doesn't matter how anyone thinks or feels, and we shouldn't be worried about changing that. Like you can, like, it's about, you don't have to spend time around those people, but it's the most important thing to push for change is the actual effects it has on people. So if someone wants to be what you would consider ignorant, or if someone wants to be a bigot, or someone wants to be just rude, it's not our job to change them or tell them they're wrong. It's just our job to make sure that their opinions don't affect how we get to live our lives. So if someone like that is in the workplace and it's making it harder for you to work, or someone is has power over legislation and is making it so that your pay is still not as high as a man's pay, that's an issue. But if it's just someone who's bothering you, you can tell them to stop, obviously, if they're there. But it's not our job to tell people, in my opinion, that they're wrong for thinking things, because I just think we get to think whatever we want. We just don't get to put it on everyone around us.
Well, what a 15-year-old wants in the world is exactly what you want in the world, which is to be heard, to be believed, to be valid, to be considered important. And and so she made a point that was important to her, and nobody agreed with her, and that hurt her feelings, and it would hurt your feelings too if you felt like she had gone out on a limb and made a political statement that or something a cause that was important to her, and she wasn't received, then that hurt her feelings.
I mean, if I got nasty comments back, I would feel that way, but just like not getting the likes, like I don't know, like pictures of me and my friends don't get as many likes as pictures of me and my girlfriend. It's just like one of those things that like I think it just depends on what you're posting, and it's not so much how much they agree with the content of it. It's not like anyone values my friendships less than my relationship. It's like
right.
you
So
know.
what I'm saying is, if you want to make a statement that you think is meaningful, you make it. Because it's a tree falling and it's going to make a sound. There'll be ears there that will hear it. They may not be willing to click the like button, but they heard you, and it may change the way they look at something, and that's why you should make a statement like that. Nikki?
I think you were spot on, Weezy, about why guys didn't like that photo. I mean, when you ask a guy, do you think that men and women should have equal opportunities in the workforce, in life, 99% of the guys are going to say yes. When you throw out the word feminism, everyone kind of freaks out. I think the FEM at the beginning of
Right.
that word freaks guys out.
Yeah, it's a little bit off-putting, because if there were a cause called manism, I don't know how many women would go like,
Oh, that's
yeah, like, or they'd be worried like, wait a minute, we thought you were, we thought you were dainty, and now you just went and liked that manism post, and now we think you're butch. So, if they change the term to humanism, because we're all about really human rights, and it's just another, it's like, there's LGBT rights, there's civil rights, there's feminine women rights, and it's rights in general. We're all in favor of rights. Hopefully, all of us. Go ahead, Aaron, and then Montana.
So regarding the name, for sexual inequality, it really is mostly women who are affected, which is why it is feminism. But what you were saying regarding okay, you asked the boys in a room, right? Like, should women be given the same opportunities, whatever else? And they say yes, yeah, that's probably true. They probably will say yes. And then you say, are you a feminist? They'll be like, what? No, right? But they are, according to the definition of feminism, if they agreed with the first statement. And if they're recoiling, it is only because they don't know what feminism means in relation to the beliefs, right? In other words, there's a miseducation.
And they're concerned about the perception of them once they click the like button.
Right, but they wouldn't be if they knew what it meant. If they think that it means women are better than men, they're not going to click that, and they're going to be like, oh, that's weird, right? But if they know that it just means that they support women,
That's why Emma Watson's campaign was he for she.
Right.
Meaning making it cool for men to stand up for women.
Right, which essentially mostly boils down to making sure they know what the word feminism
Right.
means.
Montana.
Yeah, I think feminism is actually, unfortunately mistitled, because back in the old days when it started, it did have to be a for-woman thing, because it wasn't like any men were helping women. That wasn't like, they didn't have a campaign for that. It wasn't cool to do it back then, and certainly isn't now in some geographical areas where it's like more repressed and stuff. But that's where the name comes from, and it's unfortunate that we've carried it this far, but to change it to humanism, I think would kind of diminish the message that it is still women who need help in a lot of areas, especially not just America, but places where women are actually very subservient. I don't want to say anything specific, but I think changing it to humanism would undermine that
It
whole.
wouldn't. The title wouldn't be accurate for what the goals are.
Yeah, the title wouldn't be accurate for what. Well, no,
Humanism would be
true.
like a human rights movement, whereas this is specifically a women's rights movement.
Andre.
Well, oh, sorry.
I just want to say that there's a lot of people out there, not just women, who are oppressed in the world, and then I feel if we have a united effort toward humanism, I think we'll have more results, because we're fighting for something that everyone is cheering for, right?
Mhm.
Instead of just one group or anyone else want to take it?
Nikki.
I mean, I'm just wondering if the whole name thing is being overblown.
Yeah.
Like, if the guys agree that men and women should have equal opportunities, does it matter? I don't know, but does it matter that they won't acknowledge that they're feminists?
Maybe not. Maybe
I don't
in
know.
the long run, no, because I think by the time men get to be 30, they'll be comfortable with who they are, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm a feminist. Montana.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say humanism, I guess, wouldn't be the goal, because the end goal of feminism is human rights across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But like having to change the name is kind of giving in to ignorant people's demands of like, oh, we don't want to be feminists because that's like for women. And do you see what I mean with that?
Well, if you think that being a feminist means that you're taking the side of women and that there is a battle of the sexes and that therefore one side is going to be the victor, instead I feel like it's not a battle, it's a collaboration. We're here on the planet together, so let's just stop fighting and work for all people, as Andre said.
And then can I just quickly?
Yeah, and then I want to jump off this topic quickly
Okay.
so that we can get to more questions. So,
And just one more thing that you said, Meninism or something. That's actually a thing, and it's it was a joke started by feminists.
I have so many of those pictures saved on my phone. It's not even funny.
They're so funny. Look it up, Meninism, because like, it was a joke started by feminists, and then people who are anti-feminists, like, believed it.
No, they didn't.
They thought it was a real
They
thing.
thought it was a joke too, but they thought it was a joke for their opposition to the cause. Not
Yeah.
It wasn't that they actually believed that it was a men's rights movement. That's
all right,
what
let's jump
people
to the
say. It was
phones real
just-
quick. Hello. Hello.
Hi, this is Nina.
Hi, Nina. How you feeling?
Hi. All right.
Really? What's? Yeah. Could you please explain your absence?
Well, on Friday, I got my feet turned purple, and my face got numb, and I couldn't see.
What?
And yeah, so that was a little bit scary. And then
Wow.
I
Do
went
you have
to
the plague?
doctor. I went to the doctors, and they said they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I think you
I
have the
went to-
plague.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Do they now
And then
have any
I-
idea what's going on?
Like, the plague's actually starting back up again in some parts of Africa. So.
Okay, so Nina hasn't been to Africa. I'm just making a joke. I'm not trying to scare you. So did you figure out what it was?
No. So we went to another doctor, and he didn't know what was going on, so I went in and had blood taken out of me,
Oh, wow.
and I didn't like it.
That's,
And
I
then,
feel like you have a little infection or something.
A little.
I don't know, but I've just had headaches for the past 3 days now, and I don't really know what. So,
All right. Well, feel
just chilling. So I didn't end up going to Virginia.
okay. Well, your voice sounds good and you sound healthy. So thank you for calling in. We've got a lot of kids in the studio here that would love to meet you. So get healthy and come back here soon.
I will.
All right, Nina. Thanks for calling in.
All right, bye, guys.
All right, honey.
Bye.
Take
I
care.
need,
Drink water.
Drink water. Who wants to read the question from Anonymous?
Ooh.
Ryan.
It's been a long time since I've heard
Ryan's
my
back.
voice on.
Oh,
Actually, that's
I
not
know.
true.
Everyone's
But
really excited about this.
um,
Hey,
mo-
Ryan has his own podcast now, you guys.
I do have my
Yeah.
own podcast now.
Sports.
Yeah, it's a sports podcast though, so yeah, don't worry about it. No, so Anonymous asked, "Hello, Easy. I have a fairly big problem. Thank you for answering if you can. I'm 15. My family is part of a certain Christian religion, and I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God at all, and lying and going to church. I'm lying and going to church twice a week, and going out and preaching in the ministry twice a week also, and pretending to be religious is killing me. My life is so restricted I can't stand my family's religion anymore. In our religion, if someone leaves, you have to cut ties with them. If I leave, I will legitimately lose everything. Not an exaggeration. I will lose my family, my friends, my home, my everything. I'm terrified. My parents will keep me homeschooled just because they think that non-religious people are poisonous and I have no outside friends I could turn to. I'm going to have to pretend to be religious until I'm an adult for fear of them shunning me in my own home, but I'm so terrified of being on my own. I love my family dearly, but they said if a family member leaves the religion, they will have to disown them. I have nobody I can confide in. I'm so scared of all this. I'm going to be alone with nobody."
All right, the phone is ringing. Hopefully that's not her parents.
Well, it's anonymous, so
So,
unless
like,
they're like anonymous parents as well.
Right. It's just a really sad situation, and it's kind of across the board. The super religious version of almost every religion will say and do the same thing. They're fear based rather than being love based, and so that what they try to do is control rather than saying, you'll be ours forever if we let you go out into the world and come and go as you please. But if you try to hold on to something too tightly, it's not really yours. And so I really disagree with a lot of the philosophies that the parents are trying to impart. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, it's when you hold on to something too tight, it starts to hurt, and that's when it wants to leave. And it's like I think you answered your own question though, by saying that you're gonna have to be like this until you're an adult, and that as sad and painful as that might be, that simply is the way it is. Once you're an adult, I'm not gonna say you shouldn't worry, but I wouldn't be extraordinarily concerned with it, because I know a lot of times when someone, and I mean, it sounds like you and your family have a loving relationship apart from this. When someone loves someone, and something starts to affect them, their opinions can change very fast. I know my grandpa, for example, was like very, very opposed to same-sex marriage, and like, and then my brother came out, and now he's all for it. And it's one of those things that was like a core part of his political identity, and then all of a sudden his grandchild is gay, and that shifts entirely. So for something like this, maybe they're not going to just say okay and not even, not going to say anything about it. But it's certainly possible. But I would be inclined to believe and at least hope that once you're an adult, if you are respectful about it, your parents would not fully disown you and leave you by yourself. And it's possible, but I wouldn't worry about it so much, because that time, is not for at least another 3 years, and you never know how it's going to end.
Right. So, yeah, you do have a fairly big problem. I'm going to start off by saying you can't do anything about this now. There's nothing you can do besides wait it out, which is so terrible, and I am so sorry. That's I really, it's so hard for me to think of kind of a tougher situation to be in. So basically, they're saying you are our child until God says otherwise, and you're gonna, it sounds to me like you are going to make that call eventually when you are old enough and you feel confident enough, and you need to be prepared for that moment. I would absolutely not expect them to, go behind God's back. Like, if they are so adamant as to not even let you have friends who don't view God the way that they do, this seems like a really kind of a finality. There's a finality to it. So, like I said, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. When you do make that call, which I hope you do for your own sake so you can be who you are, it's going to be one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And I can't imagine what it'll be like going forward from there. But
so what's interesting is that, I'm sorry to cut you off, Aaron, but what's interesting is that she's in this really confined and controlled family situation, and yet she's able to access the app, and she's able to ask the question, which leads me to believe she has access to the rest of the internet, and that she can Google things like, escaping super religious family, or just find terms that are similar to what you posted in your letter to us, and find other people that have found a life on the other side of this and haven't lost everything. Because, she even mentioned in here, and I had to truncate this to get it in, but she mentioned that they're not preparing her for college. They're not going to have any money for college. So she's just concerned. And I know if you want to go to college, there's community colleges that are a pathway to four-year schools, and there's a way, and you'll find people in your life that will become like family to you, and that are in the same sort of situation, or that can empathize with what you're doing and just really embrace your spirit and your hunger for knowledge and for a life outside of these constrictions. Montana, who will help you? Yeah.
What was you said you talked to her after this that they weren't putting money away for college. So what did they expect her to do?
No,
when
I'm just
she
saying
graduates
that
high school?
what I meant was that this letter was longer.
Mm-hmm.
There were more details in it, including that she doesn't think that she's going to be able to go to college because her parents never speak of college and there's no money for college. So usually in really strict sects like this, they don't want you to go. They don't want you exposed to other ideas. Taking a class in religion would be the worst thing for her parents. Like for her to actually learn that there's other ways
religions.
of looking, even though she's figured that out all on her own.
Yeah,
because she's kind of categorizing herself as an atheist, meaning being in this family has caused me to believe there is no God. So there's, you give your child life, you give life to your child, you don't get to live it, and her parents haven't yet figured that out. But as Ryan was saying, when she goes off and if she goes to school and if she creates a life for herself, let's say she has a baby, then her parents may really soften and say like, oh my gosh, it's now I have to decide between this religion, which I thought was like a number one, and this child and my grandchild, and I was more capable of compromising than I ever believed. So you may be a wonderful lesson in your parents' lifetime as they face that. And I don't think that you should trap yourself just for fear of losing them, because you may gain them in a whole different way on your own terms. You may gain the world and you may gain yourself. So go ahead, Aaron.
Yes, I guess that's true as like a possible aside positive, right? Like, yeah, they could eventually see that, it's not all so bad. But regardless of that, I'm wondering, you're homeschooled, you're in the house a lot probably with your community of people in your religion. Is there any chance of you making any money at all? If there is, do that thing, whatever it is. Like, assuming it's not illegal, right? But like, make some money now, because if you do want to go to community college, you're only going to be able to do that if you have somewhere else to live. So, because they're not going to let you do it. So, money first and foremost. That is freedom at the beginning.
Yep.
And what you were saying, right? Like reaching out, finding support groups, right? What did other people do?
Right.
What can they suggest? So on and so forth. Great start.
Let's go to the phone, see who's there. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Is this Jordan?
No, it's Space Ghost.
Oh, hi. So this is another one that hits home with you, right?
Of course.
So what?
Anything relating to sexuality and religion always relates to me.
So share some wisdom with this child.
Oh my God. I'm the only atheist in my family, as far as I know.
Do they know that you identify as atheist?
No, my mom knows that I'm not Christian, and she's like, "Oh, okay, as long as you're respectful." But I try to avoid going to church as much as I can. Usually, but just like because my mom just like she knows I'm not Christian, so she doesn't force me to. But my dad's side of it, we told me, they're like, oh, well, if you ever weren't a Christian, we'd disown you because you're not in God's, you're not one of ours, you're not one of us, and you're wrong, and you're horrible, and, yeah, I understand the pain of this anonymous so much because it sucks so bad.
Yeah, it really is. It really does hurt. It's like your family is saying, not only do we not approve of what you're planning to do, but we don't accept you, the you-ness of you, that you are embracing as yourself, we reject. And nothing hurts it like that, like being rejected from your family that way, just for having your own individual thoughts. And so I'm here to say you guys are right. Everyone has a right. As long as your thoughts are humane and you're not trying to hurt other people, then you have an absolute right to believe the way you choose. Your parents get 18 years to sort of indoctrinate you, if you will, into what they believe to be the religious sort of way of life that they've chosen, and they get 18 years of church and synagogue and whatever temple, whatever they choose to do. And then parents the world over just have to accept, well, I've parented this child. I don't get to live her life. Those are not the terms of parenthood. So, having a child having to choose between your child and your religion, or asking your child to choose between what they're feeling and thinking and you, these are not humane choices to ask a person to make. Ryan?
You said this is Space Goats on the phone, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think that if there was ever a purpose to the app, this is it. It was for Anonymous to connect with someone like Space Goats who shares a similar circumstance and talk about that kind of thing, because obviously, like you said, she has access to the app, or he has access to the app.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing more comforting than finding someone and talking to someone who's going through or has gone through the same problem that you have. So I think that this is like a great opportunity here. And as much as we can fix, like we've said, there's not much you can do about it at this point, but there are certainly ways to comfort yourself, like connecting with people through the app.
So Space Ghost, why don't you find this post and Ask Wheezy and go ahead and tag onto it? I'm sure that he or she would really enjoy hearing from you, and we really appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to jump to the next question from Lore Marcus. Is it right to kiss your crush that is single and doesn't have a boyfriend, but she likes me so much and wants to make out with me every day and wants me to date her? Would it be okay for us to make out a lot and not date? P.S. Eventually we will date.
This made me smile.
So this is like, I hate to be sexist, but this is like the world's most dudiest, like
7th grade dude.
It's like 7th grade dude post. Aaron, go ahead.
So if you say, P.S. eventually we will date, but she wants to date you, why are you not just dating?
Because he wants to be a dude.
Right, but
well, in the grown-up world, that's kind
Andre,
of how it is,
stick up
though.
for dudes, please.
Yo, just go for it, man. Just dive. Yeah. If if you're both like wanting to do it, like I understand like that you might be all like, oh, what if I mess up or something like that. Like everyone messes up, man. It's chill, just like relax and go for it. And
No,
if
he
you
wants to
think
know if it's like if he's like going to be the worst person in the world
It's
if he
fine.
just makes out with the girl and then
if you leave afterward?
eventually, like when we're 47, we'll date.
Wait, 47.
I'm just joking.
She's
Oh,
saying,
okay.
she's
I'm
thinking
just saying
about
it's
the
a
eventually.
dude post. It's a dude post. Do I get to hook up with the girl without dating the girl? That feels dude,
Oh.
I get it.
right?
Okay.
Montana, okay.
Yeah, I think
Go for it.
Yeah.
like
go ahead.
if she's also down for it, like you can hook up with her and not date, but like why would you do that if both of you want to date? And like why does he want to just postpone this dating? Is it because he wants to change his mind like after they hook up? Because you can do that too.
Okay, so the rules are you can hook up with a girl
Yes.
who wants to date you as long as you're clear that you don't want to date her. We're just kissing. We're
Yeah,
just
but he
dating.
wants to date her.
Someday.
Oh, like
I see this as the big disclaimer.
that's so
Eventually,
Yes.
it means that maybe, yeah, like you said, when I'm 47, I think
yeah,
this
but
is like,
I thought like hooking up with her is kind of seeing like, hey, should we date? Are we compatible? Yes, no.
yeah, well, I think he's saying that now to comfort himself. So, because he obviously like, he's like, is it right? Which means he's having some sense of it's wrong. So this is his way of saying no, it's right. I think. And then it would also just like add on to that, like yeah, like you said, as long as you're like kind of clear about like this is just hooking up or this is.
Clarity.
But like
Yeah.
in the adult world, and we've said this a million times, people go on dates before they start dating. You know, you
Yeah.
do things
Yes,
as you get to know
yes,
people.
And yes, but she is in love with him, and kissing him is going to make her want more. So you're going to have her to deal with.
Yeah,
if you
it has
don't
its
call
consequences.
this dating, and you think she's signed up for that, and you think that she's going to stay signed up for that, guess again.
You got to be clear with her.
Because girls can be in touch with you 24/7 nowadays. She's not going away. Aaron, go ahead.
Clarity, yes, I agree. But if he is being clear, her first question is, so why aren't we dating then? Right? Like, that's going to be her first question. If he says, we will date, but why don't we just make out for now?
So you need an answer to the question, why aren't we dating now?
Right. And if you have a good answer, then you're fine, and she will also think that's fine. And if you don't, then she will let you know.
Well, I just don't think that that's being totally clear with us. I think that's his way of comforting himself as he asks the question, like I was saying, because no one asks, is it right, unless they have some sense of it being wrong. So I think that he's not being fully clear with us. I think that's a comforting thing. I think if he wanted to be totally honest, he'd pretty much say, like, I'm not ready to date you, but I kind of want to make out with you. Maybe we'll date. Not eventually we'll date.
And, you know, for sure this happens. For sure people do this, and it doesn't make you a bad person, and your desire to want to do it, that's double desired. But your desire to do it does not make you a bad person. It's a natural question. Go ahead, Nikki.
I think just like a couple sentences with the girl,
Yeah.
two sentences.
What
just
are they?
how do you see this going? Like, what if he just wants to make out with her, then say that.
Say I'm not ready for a girlfriend. But we both agree to do
Yeah.
a couple of sentences of
It's conversation.
clarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andre. No?
Nothing.
Let's go to the phone and see what our caller thinks. Hello.
Yellow.
Hello, Jordan. Do you have a thought on this?
I do.
Go.
Okay, so the guy says that eventually he wants to date.
He does say that.
Why doesn't he just date her now?
Well, maybe he wants to keep his options open and see if she's a decent kisser. I don't know how men think. But, you know, the girl gets to say that to the guy. Why don't you want to date me now?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy gets to say, why do you want to date me now?
Well, she's
Again, answer the
so
question with a
much.
question.
She likes him so much is what it says in here. Yeah, so much. So, you know, I think as long as he's clear, then he can do as he pleases. She's probably going to go along with it, thinking that it will get him to like her more. But then at a certain point, if he's not dating her, and if it's not eventually ever, then she gets to say, this is not okay with me. I feel used. But, yeah, it's all about clarity. Thank you so much for calling, Mrs. Call. For next week, we will have Skype up and running. I promise, or Justin promises. And I'm going to tell you where Justin lives so you can come and hurt him. Weird writes, my younger brother is depressed, and it makes me so sad, and I feel like a horrible person because I'm trying to be helpful and supportive and caring, but I just end up making it worse. I just make it worse when I try to talk to him, but how am I supposed to just ignore it when he's crying all the time or not wanting to do anything but play video games? He's saying he doesn't even like all these things that he used to love, and I'm really worried about him. Please help. I don't know what to do. Hands are going up. Aaron?
So, first of all, I'm just going to say that, and it's going to sound wrong, I'll explain, but it's not your problem, meaning it is not your responsibility to take care of because you are not his parent. You can be there for him, and I recommend that you do be there for him, and what he does do with him. If he's not doing anything but video games, get in on that, right? Be there for him, listen to him. If he does want to talk, don't push it, just go with the flow. But outside of that, there's not much you can do besides like air your concerns to your parents who are in a position to do some good.
I love you and I worry about you, and give me a controller? Because I think sometimes just activity feels like bonding, and words aren't always necessary. Ryan?
Yeah, I don't think I've had a question in the app or like I've seen a question that we've addressed on the panel since I've been here that has more resonated like with my past. And I, from someone who was extraordinarily depressed and similar things to this, where like things I loved, I just like they were too much of a burden to even handle. I had no energy to do any of them. I wouldn't even say I love you and I'm concerned about you. I would say I love you. But the concern is like, if you're depressed, you know it.
Yeah.
You feel it. I don't think you need to hear it from anyone that they're concerned about you because, quite frankly, you don't have the energy to care about what they think.
Right, so it feels like an obligation.
Yeah, it's just you want to hear them say they love you, and then you want them to play with you. And look, you're going to have to deal with your brother being really grumpy because when people are depressed and they try and do things with other people, it's a push for them to even interact. So, like, for him playing video games with you, I know if my brother had tried to sit down and play video games with me when I was going through this, if he was trying to be nice but did it wrong, I'd still be mad at him. Like, if he, people... It's the kind of thing where someone could be doing you a favor, but they're not doing it the way you want them to, and even that is enough to, make you. I mean, for me, it was also a combination of depression and anger, so it might be a little different. But for me, it would like even agitate me and make me angry. I don't think you have to worry about him that much unless your parents are really not doing anything on their part to support him, and it's painful. And he needs to get he needs to see a therapist, and hopefully, if he needs it, he'll be on medication and whatever he needs to help him out. But yeah, just be there and love him. It's like he's crying. It's hard to make clear because I've been through it, so I know how it feels and I know what I was thinking, but it's not exactly clear enough to put into words. But he's crying all the time because life just kind of sucks, and it's like everything you do, like I would have things that I loved and I hated doing them no matter how much I love them because I just wanted to lay there. If I finally got the energy to like say play a video game and the batteries in my remote died, I'd just lay on the couch for 6 hours until I had the energy maybe to go and get a new pair of batteries from 2 feet away.
Wow.
It was that's just how it was. So it's not something that you can really explain. It just life kind of sucks when you're depressed because you don't like anything. Like you said, the things he loves, he still doesn't like. So just be there for him, telling him you love him. One thing my brother did that I appreciated was when I wanted him there, he was there for me if he could be, but he didn't push himself into my life, And when it was too hard for him, he took care of himself and he left, and he'd go and hang out with his friends. So that's what you can do as a brother is be there for him, but also be there for yourself at the same time.
That's really helpful. Thanks, Ryan. All right, let's jump to the next question. This is from Anonymous. Do you know her?
My best friend.
Yeah, my grandmother used to fight with my mother before I was born when my nan used to live at our house. She moved out a long time ago, and now whenever my nan comes over to our house, my mom doesn't really talk to her. She replies curtly or turns on the TV and flips through channels, totally ignoring her. I am losing all the respect I had for my mom. I've told her that, but she only lectures me about the value of parents. This seems ironic.
Yeah.
If you want to define irony to somebody, just read them this post. Go ahead, Montana.
Yeah. I wouldn't personally get involved in it because it seems like it's something that's between them. And if you're the kind of person who wants to like help solve family issues, like I guess you could ask your mom or your grandma what they why they don't get along very well and try to like figure that out, like, and maybe be the middle ground between them. Personally, I wouldn't, because my thing is I just don't get in family issues, and that's how I keep my life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, you can say something like really non-judgmental, but just help me understand what went on between you and Nan, because it hurts to see the frostiness in the air, because I love both of you. But, if the older you grow, maybe the more your mom will tell you. And if she starts to like throw Nan under the bus, go, okay, stop there. I don't need to hear you throw her under the bus. I just want to kind of understand like where the tension comes from. Yeah. Andre?
Yeah. I kind of feel you over this one because like my grandma used to live at home, and then like I come home from school one day, and then I see like my dad and her fighting one day, and like I just sit outside, and like I was completely lost on what to do. But with time, I guess they solve out their own problems, so you should leave it up to them. They're like adults, they're reasonable people, right? And it's not gonna be so long that they're gonna not have these differences sorted out. I think like with time they can forgive each other.
I don't know. I mean, it's going on. It's been going on. Ooh, I just moved the camera with my feet. Sorry. It's been going on throughout her lifetime. So
Yeah.
like this is anyway. Aaron, thoughts?
Yeah, this isn't your problem to fix,
Right.
but it also shouldn't like be the defining thing, like in terms of your relationship with either of them, right?
Mhm.
Like, be cool with your grandma, be cool with your mom, and try to stay away when they're in the same room. Like, it's their thing, and it kind of sucks. Maybe, like you said, as you grow older, you probably end up hearing about it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't try to fix it because it's not your thing. But, you know, have a relationship with both.
Right. Or Nikki, and then Ryan.
Do we think that would pointing out the irony of the situation to the mother, would that help the situation at all? Do you guys think?
She would
No.
say,
That's kind of what I was going to get at. Is there's nothing more, I would imagine, painful for a mother to hear that her own daughter I think it's her daughter, or it might be, it doesn't specify, that her own child is losing respect for her. I mean, like, that's the last thing in the world that a parent would want. And so I think pointing out the irony would just be another level of like, here's where I don't respect you. And as a parent, you know, you give birth to this person, you raise them for years and years, and you know, you're not like an infant. Obviously, you're typing a message to us. You're like, you know, you're getting up there in age, and your parents have spent so much time and money and effort on raising you, and then to hear that you lose respect for one of them
But,
would be extraordinarily painful, regardless of whether or not it's true. She's just not going to respond well to it.
But see, I could see you saying something that does not include the word irony, but still points it out, like saying, "I do respect you, Mom, and so that's what makes me curious about why you're not respecting Nan." Just don't use the word irony. That sounds like an accusation.
Questions are better than accusations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like it just points out the situation. Like, you know, I think that the mom, it could be an eye opener. You know, as you mentioned, Aaron.
I mean, yes, it could be, but I also am always wary in terms of catching people in the act and then like laying it on them while they're doing it. Like, that is always a great way to put people on the defensive, to shut conversations down.
Even through the eyes of a child, just help me understand. Like using terms like that.
Yeah, it's like at that point it becomes, hey, I'm the adult, right? Like, I'm your parent. I know what's going on. Go to your room. We'll talk about this later.
She's sitting there flipping channels while her mother's in the room. So you don't think the children notice this?
Right, right. And like I said, bringing it up maybe not during that like if this conversation
No,
happens again.
after Nan is long gone. No, not in front.
No, because she says I'm losing all respect I have for my mom. I've told her that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says she only lectures me about the value of my parents, right? You say that's the ironic situation that
Right.
later on she brings up, right, that I'm losing respect because of the situation, and then she's like, hey, value your parents, which is me, the mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that has already kind of been poked at a little.
Right.
And then if you then go and say, not necessarily, you know, that's ironic considering you don't seem to respect grandma, but like that is catching her in the act while she's doing it, and that's a great way to bring up a wall between you and your mom in terms of the conversation.
Right, but you know it. So what's kind of poignant about the situation is what we learn more by watching than we learn from anything we actually or just do this, respect me. Like, I'm watching you disrespect your mom, and I'm now disrespecting you because of it. And so that's what that hurts so much, that you just want to help them. And we don't know whatever went on. Let's jump to the phone real quickly. Hello.
Hello?
Hi. Who's this?
This is Carly, the one. Wait, who is this?
Oh, this is Wheezy.
Oh, hi.
Oh, Carly, my Cowsill friend.
Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah. Good.
Thanks for calling in.
I'm watching. Good. Yeah, hi. I'm watching your thing right now because I'm on spring break and I can actually stay up and watch it.
Oh, she did. Well, tell your mom thanks from us.
Hello. Hello.
Is that?
Hi. Who's it?
If you could turn down your computer, though.
Oh yeah, Carly, turn down your computer because we're hearing us in like space
Okay,
travel, time travel. Were you listening to the question that we were just addressing?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
What I wanted to say is I've gone through something like this also with my
Ah.
parents,
Okay.
and it is really stressful on the family when like you can see your parents arguing with one another and arguing with their parents. And I've often tried to like kind of like confronting my parents and ask, like, why are you arguing with grandma? Or why are you arguing with grandpa? Because it is really stressful to watch. And, like, I think the best thing you can do is just, like, be cool with both of them, you know? Like, tell your opinion and ask when it's okay. But honestly, both of my parents have told me that life is too short to, like, keep arguments like this happening. I don't really know how to explain it, but, like, I know what this person is going through and how hard it can be to see all the stress in the family. It seems really bad, like, when a family is your family is getting torn apart because of something like this. But it's best to just, like, stay cool with one another and just, like, confront them every now and then when you can. Because, like, honestly, I think life is too short, in my opinion, to keep fighting.
Right.
Keep times like this happening. But if it's I don't know.
I think what you're trying to say is, like, don't watch your mom fight with her mom and then fight with her over it, because you're just piling on. Like, and thank you so much for calling.
Try to, like, confine your mom, just saying, like, why? Like, grandma or whoever is going to pass away one day, do you really want this to be, like, one of the last? Do you really want this to be, like, how you remembered your last few years with her?
That's a really good point. Thank you so much for calling in, Carly. We really appreciate it. Good insights. Let's jump to the next question from Gay Emo Boy. No one at my school is gay, but I really want a boyfriend. Maybe I could find someone online and it would be a long-distance relationship, but that's so difficult. Do you think that gay kids should find a relationship online, or should they just wait to grow up? Because it sounds like it's dismissive to say, oh, well, since you're gay and it's kind of controversial, just wait until you grow up. Because why shouldn't they get to have a relationship in high school like all of us? Go ahead, Aaron.
So, like, I guess that would depend on what he means. For example, like a dating site, like an actual dating site devoted to dating, I don't know many high schoolers who go to those.
It's not safe.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's kind of like meeting someone in an online community that you're already a part of, and then that turns into something else, like
a gaming community,
right?
Or
Like that's
Our Place or something.
Yeah, like that's a little different. Although Our Place is not a dating app.
No, it isn't. But I know there's people that I've met on there who are dating. How could there not be? It's life.
Right, and like as friendships form, who knows, right? But like in terms of going to an actual community for high schoolers to date online, that's hard to say for anyone. Doesn't matter if you're gay or whatever else. Like it's kind of, that's a sketchy territory.
Ryan?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said, and then also like, it's a difficult situation to be in, because you're like, okay, there's no one at your school is gay, so now who can you look for a
P.S.
relationship
I don't
with?
believe that. And there's kids watching him, and they're like so jealous because he's out and they're not yet. So there's kids.
But as far as like how you perceive it, there's no one to look for a relationship with. And this definitely is difficult, like in your situation. But my personal motto, as far as my dating is concerned, is like I don't seek out relationships. I just seek out people I want in my life, and then they can turn into relationships. So. Because I just don't think you're going to find a successful relationship with anyone if that's what you're really looking for, if you're seeking out the relationship more than the person who it's with.
Well said.
And on the other hand, if you're in high school and you just kind of want someone to date, then that's different. Then by all means, you can meet someone in a safe community and get to know them if you're not really looking for like a long-term successful relationship. But and that's my personal motto. It could be different for each and every person, but that's just how I see it.
Montana?
Yeah, okay, you kind of stole exactly what I was going to say, because, I think the problem with, like, these dating sites, other than some of them being, like, super sketchy and, like, possibly...
Although my mom met her husband on JDate, for what it's worth.
Okay, so that's cool. And...
But not in high school.
Right, no, when they were, like, 50. So if you want to wait till then, go on JDate if you're Jewish.
I'm... Yeah. Wait,
Dating
do they
tips from
check
Ryan.
if you're Jewish?
No, you
Do
don't
they
have
what?
to be Jewish.
No,
you
but
just have to be
it's-
wanting to date someone.
But the
Jewish.
idea is that it's like you would sign up because you want to date someone Jewish. So if you're not Jewish, no one would want to date you
No,
on
no,
the
no.
site.
There's a
'cause they
lot
all-
of
Not
non-Jewish people on, and there's like Catholic dating sites and a lot of non-Catholic
Well,
people.
But who
okay,
would? But
Like
if
my
it's-
cousin, like she
Go ahead.
wants to date a Jewish guy specifically. I
Why?
don't know why.
But my thing is like my
But
mom
she
signed up
just
because
does.
she like my mom signed up because she wanted to date a Jewish guy and then my stepdad signed up because he wanted to date a Jewish woman. So no one's going to sign up with the intent of dating a Jewish
Your
guy or
parents should just
woman.
be back with each other.
And then, well, no, I'm saying like no one would want to sign up to date someone Jewish and then date someone who's not Jewish. You see what I'm saying? Because if
I
you're
know, but they don't come over to your house and say like, "How many times have you been to temple this month?" Like you can, it's just that's the
Yeah,
focus,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you don't have to be Jewish.
Right.
Just like there's
no,
Catholic
you don't
gay-
have to,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but a lot of people are looking for Jewish
Anyway,
people
Montana's
on that
point.
specific site.
Um,
Farmers
oh,
meat is
God.
also good.
Oh, farmers. You actually have to be a farmer. They check up on that.
And
Or
there's
you-
one
or
that's
you
like
can
really
join the Bachelor
exclusive.
to find a farmer.
There's one where you have to be like really attractive, and they like kicked a bunch of people off for like signing up and then not maintaining their like looks or something like that.
Yeah. I heard about that.
It was like it's like 1,000 people.
Farmers
in the
who've
entire
gone to
thing.
seed.com. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Oh, that wheezy.
Sorry.
The Flappy Bird joke a while ago,
Sorry.
and now this.
Sorry. Montana, finish your point, please.
What was my point? I don't even
know.
remember. After Farmer's Date.
Just
Oh,
say
yeah.
if you
Okay,
can
so I
wait-
remember.
Yeah.
I hate to say like wait till you find the person because granted it could be a while and it isn't fair that straight kids get to like date more openly than gay kids. And also going with Weezy's point, there are more gay kids in your school, or at least bi kids are willing to experiment who just you don't know it. There will be. Just wait. But it's not okay to say wait, but at the same time I don't think you should look for a relationship because once you have it then it's more about the relationship than it is about being with the person. And for me, relationships, like I don't look for them, I just fall into them because I find a person and then it kind of just happens.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I say about it. It's
Yeah,
like if you seek the
and-
relationship more than the person, then what does the relationship actually have?
Yeah, you don't get like relationship points or nothing.
Yeah, like I always tell kids, it's not like casting a part in a play. Like, need someone who fits the description of boyfriend, and then, oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh, I haven't really spoken to him, nor do I like his views or his opinions or hit the sound of his voice. But I have a boyfriend, so
It'd be
it's-
like if you had an ongoing play, and when you walked past me, like you would be perfect for this role. That's the
Yeah.
better way to do it, but not to seek out people through casting calls.
But it's
like-
hard, like when you're 14 or 15 and you feel like everyone around you is in a relationship and you just want to be able to have that title, to feel loved. But use that energy to find out who
But-
you are, because then you're going to be more able to be in a relationship with the right person when that time comes. Go ahead, Montana.
And also, just personally for me, I think like, wow, this is gonna sound bad. I don't really like relationships. No offense, Andre. he's, and I mean that like, you're awesome. I love you. You're great. But I don't like the concept of being in relationships if it's with a person you don't really care about, because
Then it's
Then
an
it's-
obligation.
then it's just work. Then
Yeah.
it's an obligation. And the whole point of a quote unquote relationship is to be with somebody that you enjoy,
And complementary.
that you have a
that-
relationship
that
with.
you have a relationship with.
Yeah.
A relationship isn't just like a thing you just go buy in
it's
a box.
it's a connection between two people.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Free usually.
It's
What?
what?
It's usually free.
Well,
Relationships that cost something aren't really like,
That's deep.
yeah.
I'm a
Except sometimes like a first, paying for the first dinner on a date
Oh,
might,
well-
yeah, that costs something.
Man, those are like
that's
what
just
you call that? Collateral costs? Yeah.
collateral damage.
Collateral damage.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, I have your chain.
Yeah, can I have that back?
Yep. See?
Later.
Okay.
You have headphones on.
Okay.
Right.
Look at him
Sorry,
looking
I
out
didn't-
for his
So,
girlfriend.
and it's really hard to
I
tell
didn't
someone
mean to
who's
say
kind of
I don't like relationships.
for someone who you guys can talk about this after the show, and you will. So to say to somebody who wants a boyfriend, like, oh, if you want one too badly, that means you'll pick the wrong person and you're willing to just accept anyone online just so that you can fill in the slot titled boyfriend. And are we really helping this kid by saying, yeah, that can wait until you meet? Because like when
I
you're
think-
when you're older and you're kind of in a relationship, it's easy to talk to someone who's yearning for a relationship and say, don't yearn. I mean, if you're yearning, you're yearning. Oh, Emma. Let's get Emma in here.
Oh man, I'm actually talking.
Yay. Okay, pull it down a little bit and talk right into that mic.
Well, it kind of depends on what kind of relationship you want. If you want something that means something, something will happen. But if you want something that's just exactly to fill in a slot that's open, then you go looking for it. So,
And
You're
there
trying to
could
like
be
fool
in-
around in high school, that's one thing. But if you actually want to have something meaningful, like
Yeah.
it's that-
Yeah, and if you're kind of so desperate for a relationship that you're willing to date someone you don't actually know and you can't really even clarify whether they're the actual person in the profile picture, then I just say, flirt and, kind of feel what it feels like to be attracted and to be excited about a conversation, but there's no need to call it a boyfriend or a relationship until you know that person in person, unless you really want to be on Catfish, because, you know, if you make that a goal, then definitely date online. Because who watches that? Anybody?
I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh, it's fascinating.
Wait, what is it? Because like my friend said I had to watch the movie and it was like it was a dating thing and then something happened and then they wouldn't tell me what happened.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the movie to watch the TV show. You
Well,
can actually
what
learn-
happens in the TV show?
Oh,
It's
the
just like
TV
they
show
follow
is
stories.
the guy. They coined the term catfish. I don't know if there's time for this because it's 8:00, but the term catfish, which we can explain next week, is if someone is pretending to be something online because they need something in their life, they have an emptiness, and you're filling it. So he goes in search of this girl that he's fallen in love with. I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody, but it's the same guy, Neve, who's the host of the show, because he's been catfished, which is now a verb and everything. It's a noun and a verb, and it means you've been fooled by the internet, because the internet lies to you.
You done goofed.
So he now goes and he gets letters from people that say, hey, I've been talking to this person for 3 years. We never Skype. We never talk on the phone. She's always finding an excuse not to meet up with me. And he's like, well, let's go figure out why not. And they go in search of finding out who is this person and who are they actually. And so the internet is full of liars, it turns out. So I would say, yes, you're yearning for a relationship, but it's okay to yearn. Yearning can be good. It kind of teaches your heart what it wants. It doesn't mean that your yearning should be fulfilled instantaneously. It's like a gymnasium for your heart. And the best relationships are the ones that wait until both of you are ready to find each other. We are Our Place Out Loud. Thank you, panel, for being with us, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
I've been out there wandering, I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, or wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll learn what really matters. And our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters, you'll learn